What's up? Welcome to Talk Verde to Me. This is my race video of the Jigger Johnson 50 miler. This is a race I've been training a lot for, and it is a quite mountainous race in the heart of the White Mountains in New Hampshire. Getting to the top of the first peak, like 2.5 miles in. Quite the climb, but very beautiful. So it started out by summiting the boats, as you see going on right here. It's a beautiful view. This is around mile 5. It started out with a pretty big climb up to here, but gorgeous day, no clouds, getting pretty warm. Finally done with the first long climbing section. We're at the top of it right now. 90 minutes in, 4.8 miles, the whopping 3,000 feet of gain, and the terrain is not disappointed. It starts out with the moats, which is like supposed to be the most technical part and the main part that I haven't done before. Yeah, excited to see what's to come. Just hit 2 hours, got my head wet in the river at 7 miles, 3,200 feet of gain. A 17-minute pace right now. It's been a lot of climbing. And this first 17 miles is a really slow section. Feeling good though. It's warm out today. It's gonna get into the 80s. But we're trying to stay wet. Luckily it's not too humid compared to what it has been. At mile 10.5 and 5,500 feet of elevation gain. Shells are going down easy, which is nice. And I have a long descent to the aid station around like 16 miles. So hopefully we can drop the pace down a little bit, but definitely don't want to be too aggressive right now. At mile 16, 4:11 time, and 5,764 feet of elevation gain. About a mile from aid station. We're on a dirt road for a little bit. Bye, Sarah. All right, thank you. Have a nice day, guys.
Good job, man.
Just came into the first aid station in 5th place, I believe. So just trying to hold that, not do anything too crazy. Got the water restocked. Oh wait, shoot. See it into the aid station in like 4:20. Time elapsed. My goal is 4:30, so a little ahead. Runnable section now, so that's good. Instead I was in 5th, but there were some other people in there when I was there, so I don't exactly know, but top 10, which is awesome. Pass, not get past. On a long road section right now, and I didn't really train for this. Yeah, T-Ben's kind of acting up. Yeah, just a lot more running. I want the poles back out, you know? But have a steep climb before you know it. Definitely climbing now. 5.5 hours elapsed time. 21.8 miles and 7,100 feet of gain. Climbs make the legs feel good, which works the aerobic system. That's totally fine. And hopefully the downhills still feel good. But I feel like there's no way to like be over 20 miles into something and still feel fresh. Today is all about learning how to push. Once I feel like you can't push as much. Good news is I've reached half of the climbing for the day. 8,600 something feet. And at mile 24 and a half. Bad news is that the most I've ever done in a day is 8,000 feet, so we are in new territory, but that was gonna happen eventually. Just over 6.5 hours time elapsed. Coming up on the mile 32 aid station. 8 hours just ticked by. Yeah, it's hard, guys. This is hard. We're getting through it. Hit the mile 32 aid station. Tried to go in and out quick. Passed one person in the station, but I got past in the last section, so I think I'm sort of in like 5th or 6th-ish, which I'm very fine with. But there are some people around, so I'm not able to walk it in by any means. Now I got 25 miles to go. Like 7,000 feet of elevation gain in 8. So we're gonna be working. My family's at the next aid station in 9 miles. Really looking forward to that. So, getting to there. Then I'll probably pass the GoPro off to them. Been a flat but slow last couple of miles. A lot of mud. Just hit 920. Lapsed. Probably like 4.5 miles to the aid station. And I cannot wait. So that was definitely just the worst section of the entire course so far. Because like it looks flat. I'm pacing. I expect it to be pretty runnable. And it's just fucking just like boulder fields and mud pits. Yeah, very demoralizing. So I thought this section would be fast. I have like 2.5 miles to the aid station. I really just want to make it there. What do you need?
So Carter, tell us how the race is going so far.
Good,
like
but
the work
hard.
Yeah, well, you're doing great. Doing amazing.
Nothing is like injured.
That's good. Yeah.
One gel is like a little fast. Yeah, somebody travels here. Yep.
Oh, do you want to grab out his neon vest too?
Yeah.
Got it, Carter. Hey, let's go. Carter. You got it. Just finish the race. Yes.
What do you have to say?
Carter, what do you want to say to the camera? You're a mile away. Okay, we won't talk to you.
Decided he's gonna finish.
Hi, Carter.
If you're gonna do a turnaround and just head back to
Woo!
Carter. Nice job.
So as you just saw across the finish line at the Jigger Johnson 50 mile, I was super happy to finish this race. That was goal number 1 going into it. It was my first thing over 33, 34 miles, and it ended up being 57, close to 58 miles total with 16,000 feet of elevation gain. It was a beast of a race, and I finished it in 16 hours and 7 minutes. Now, my stretch goal going into the race was sub 14 hours. Really, I thought it'd be around 15 hours, but boy, that course was a lot harder than I expected. The flat section that I thought was going to be runnable was pretty swampy, and everyone slowed down on that. So to finish in 16 hours, I was pretty happy. And that was good enough for 5th overall on the day, 4th male, which again, super pumped for it. Like, this is an Aravaipa race. I think that this race eventually will be the staple of New England for mountain running. At least that's my prediction. Beyond happy with how the race was put on, with how amazing the course was. Like, now that I've had a couple of days to reflect, this is just it's such an amazing race. I would totally recommend anyone in the Northeast or anyone, in the world that's looking to experience Northeast mountain running. This is an amazing 50 mile. I think also the 20 mile course here is super cool. Pros Dan Kurtz and Lauren Gregory, who are part of Northwoods, who I run with sometimes here, they both ran the 20 mile and absolutely demolished it. I think the 20 mile course is cooler than the 50 mile because it just goes up the Osceolas at the end. But when I handed off the camera at mile 41 to my family, that's when it really started getting tough again. After that, we had a 2,000 foot climb, actually more like 2,500 feet up the Osceolas, and then go down that and then up to Kumse, which was another 2,500 foot climb, and then down that to the finish line. I definitely slowed down a little bit on those sections, but I mean, I had a 30-minute mile because in 1 mile I gained 1,300 feet. It was crazy, and it was pretty scrambly too. I was shocked, had to put up the poles away and use the hands a decent amount on that uphill. Yeah, I mean, this race is what I was focusing on for the entire summer or the entire spring, and I think that it paid off. I put in vert, and on the climbs and descents, I was doing pretty well. I was passing people consistently on the climbs and the descents. However, there was more runnable flat sections in the middle of the race than I expected, and I was getting passed on those. Shockingly, on the final climb, once I got to Tecumseh at mile 50, I saw a headlamp, and the kid that was in front of me in 4th place, I caught him on the top of Tecumseh. His name is Jack Buffington, only 19 years old, super talented, super excited to see what he does. But then he saw my headlamp too, and then he just started to bomb down the mountain. So that was tough. He was able to close a lot harder than I was, and I ended up finishing 12 minutes behind him. And the winner on the day was Mead Binhammer, who he's very fast. He's done really well at Ragged Mountain. He finished in 13 hours and 10 minutes. And I think that's a really good bar for the, what is now the course record at this 50 mile. Knowing that if you go sub 13 hour in the future, you're probably gonna win this race, and that's really cool. But yeah, it'll only be less than 3 hours off the winner at a pretty competitive race I was pretty happy with. Another notable runner that ran it was Cole Crosby. He ended up having a rough day, but I was lucky enough to pass him and run into him on the trail decently early on, and he dropped at the aid station. My family's volunteering at, and he was super nice. So, yeah, very cool to see Cole Crosby get to talk to him. But yeah, amazing race. I made some pretty major mistakes with it being my first race of this distance. First is that I'd never used drop bags before, and at the first aid station, totally forgot about my drop bag. I got in, got water, and then left the aid station because I'm used to carrying all my nutrition on me. And then about a quarter mile later, I realized that, I forgot my gels. Instead, I had to go back to the aid station. So that added half a mile and some decent time and some positioning early on. Not a huge deal, half a mile, but it was annoying. I then also later on at mile 41, when I got to my parents' aid station, I gave them my pack and was like filled my waters and everything. Did a shoe change, you saw that, and left. And then once I got half a mile out on that section, if not 2/3 of a mile, I realized that my dad hadn't filled the bottles in the back of my vest, and I was entering a 9-mile section up the Osceola, so I needed 2 liters of water. And then I also realized that I couldn't find my required gear, including my headlamp, and I was entering the dark, so I needed that. So I had to go all the way back in what probably ended up being 1 to 1.5 mile out and back because of that. And that was another huge mistake, especially at mile 41. And I ended up running pretty hard back to the aid station because I was feeling, pretty worried. Then when we got there, I couldn't find my required gear, got a headlamp off of someone else, ended up using that. Turns out my required gear was in my bag the entire time. It was just at the bottom of the bladder pocket, not where I was used to, so I didn't realize. But mistakes and main learnings is that when I'm entering an aid station, I need to know exactly what I want to do, and I need to do it myself because other people aren't able to read my mind. They don't know what I'm thinking and what I want done. And then for nutrition, I was able to go completely off of gels for the race. I had probably 5 pretzels at the aid stations total. And then, I was just alternating between Carbs Fuel 50-gram gels, Huma gels, just their normal 21-gram, and then Never Second 30-gram gels. I would take 1 of each of those every hour, so I had a timer on my watch for every 20 minutes. I'm gonna take a gel every 20 minutes. And I did that the entire race, didn't miss a single gel. And so I was taking down 100 grams of carbs per hour for the entire race, all off gels. Which when I was telling people that was my plan going in, they thought I was crazy, but ended up working totally fine. And so that's a great learning from me. I also had no sodium supplementation on top of just those gels. So I was taking in, I think, around 300 to 400 milligrams of sodium per hour just from the gels, which is a lot lower than, what people say you're losing, but I had 0 cramping issues. So that also went great for me. I made some mistakes, but I also, it went very well in other regards. And I slowed down a little bit progressively, but nothing too major. Pace the whole day ranged from 14:30 up to like 17:30 for like that average pace, and probably didn't vary too much in that within 3-mile sections. So that was also pretty good, and that's with 300 feet per mile of climbing. So grade adjusted pace was like 12:30-ish, and it went great. Shoes, I did that shoe swap, so I started in Tobo Mountain Racer 3s, and then I swapped to my Adidas Agravic Speeds. And hindsight, I probably would just have 2 pairs of those Adidas Agravic Speeds and run the whole race in them. They were so comfortable and didn't hold on to any water versus the Tobos held on to water in the stream crossings. And then the last thing was with regards to those stream crossings. It was a pretty hot day. It was like mid-70s, got up to high 70s, maybe even hit 80. And so I made a conscious effort of, whenever I saw water, getting my hat wet, putting it on my arms, on my back of my neck, and then, getting my head completely soaked. And I think that helped me stay pretty cool the entire race, and that was great. But I love the race. I'm excited to see what I can do in more of these longer races because this went really well for me. This maybe was my best performance yet, and it's my debut in the longer races. And I think Jigger Johnson is a race I could go back to, if not for the 50-mile, definitely for that 20-mile. I'm pretty interested in that race. It's definitely the most competitive distance. I found that the longer races at that event were less competitive. So I'd say competitive went from like 20-mile to 50-mile to 100-mile. But loved it. I hope that you enjoyed following along. Hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry I couldn't film more, but I also wanted to focus on me racing. But if you did like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, press that like button, subscribe to the channel for more mountain adventures coming soon. Doing some more speedy stuff in the fall with some like mountain half marathons and eventually another road marathon. And as always, keep on running. Thank you.